Can finally breathe again. It's a new day, farewell past. As I close this chapter, I set free at last. Oh, I say I made up my mind. There's no turning back. The past is behind me. There's no looking back. I'm looking forward, not behind. I made the decision to give you my life, and there's no looking back. Oh, and there's no looking back. And there's no looking.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Deanna. For those of you who follow my Instagram blog, you may know me as Your Modern Day Ruth. But I kind of wanted to make this channel just to get more personal with you guys. You know, you could only do so much and share so much on an Instagram platform. So, and you guys asked me a lot of questions. I got a lot of DMs about my story, my life, and like the things I went through. So I feel this is a more personal way to kind of answer some of those questions and dive deeper into the topics that I do discuss on my blog. So basically, I started my blog in August, like the last August I started it, and I didn't have the intentions on growing it to what it is now. I started it as a way, kind of for my own healing, because I would just write little things down, like as I was going through my process. I went through like a really bad heartbreak, so I would just write things down, like to encourage myself, and I started posting them on my Instagram story, and people just started gravitating to it and asking me questions and telling me how much they loved it. So when I came back to college, I go to the University at Albany, so when I came back for fall semester, I was like, I'll do a blog. Like, you know, people seem to like my stories, so I'll just start posting it more, but on like a bigger scale. So I kept posting, and I never had the intentions on doing this to become some sort of influencer or doing this to like be some like big person out there. It was honestly just, I wanted to heal. I didn't want to be broken anymore. And through my healing, I saw that other people were finding their healing. And that was so empowering to me. And I'm like, you know, empower women. And even men, like, because I have like guys sometimes that DM me that's like, you know, like your story, like I relate to it too. So people in general, I kind of just want to encourage them and let them know, like, where you are now is not where you have to stay. Like, there's life beyond your storm, life beyond your pain. Like, you don't have to stay broken. You don't have to stay bitter. You can grow from what you grow through. You can grow from what you go through, sorry. So yeah, so a little bit of like my background. I grew up in Long Island, from Long Island. I grew up in the church my whole life. My whole family's in ministry. My parents, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, like everybody. I got saved when I was 6, but I didn't really submit at that age. I don't think I fully understood what it meant to submit. So yeah, I went to church because that's what I knew. That's what my family did. That's what I was raised to do. So whatever. But like I had my series, like I went through depression when I was younger. I had very low self-esteem. Like I didn't think I was pretty. Like a lot of things. And I don't come from a very like emotional, like hugging family. So it's like I didn't hear I love you often, or like you're really pretty. Like I didn't hear those things growing up. And so, and then going to school and it's like comparing yourself to other girls who look better than you, girls who have more things than you. It kind of took a toll on me growing up. So I just started looking for other things, looking to boys, looking to men. I had like 2 previous relationships that were just toxic. Like one of them was very abusive and the other one was just a habitual cheater. And then fast forward into my freshman year of college, I was kind of like the wild child when I first came here, because it's like, okay, I'm away from my family for the first time, away from the church for the first time. I can really see what the world is like, because growing up in the church, we don't really get to experience the things that the people in the world get to. We don't get to see the things that they get to see. I wasn't allowed to like sleep over at anybody's house really unless they went to my church. Like I never really hung out with people unless they went to my church. Growing up, my parents would ask me, do their parents go to church? And after that question, I just knew, okay, I can't hang out with them. Or can't like stay at their house. So when I came to college, like I said, like I just kind of flew. And so I was drinking, I was smoking, I was partying, like I thought I was living my best life. I'm like, oh, can't nobody touch me, can't nobody say anything to me. Thought I was having the time of my life. And then there was this guy, like I knew him from back home, we were friends. And we started dating. And when we started dating, it was very different for me because he didn't want anything from me. Like, he didn't want me to sleep with him. He just didn't want anything. He genuinely just really liked me. And that, like, eventually grew into love. And he was, like, my best friend. Like, we told each other everything. We talked about everything. Like, our secrets, everything. And we got very close, very fast. And I was in complete love. Like, there's nothing this man could have asked me to do, and I wouldn't have done it for him, and he knew that. But to me, it was so beautiful. But like he grew up in the church too, so it's like we both knew God, and we both. Oh, I didn't really have a relationship with God. He did. But we didn't really care. So like we would sleep together. We would do whatever we wanted. Sometimes go to church, sometimes not. And it was what it was. And then somebody said to me one time, you know, God really wants the both of you. And with you guys being together the way you are, God's not going to get you. So get it together before God gets you. And I'm just like, you know, you're chatting, like, we're fine. Like, I didn't really pay attention to it. And then, like, I just thought we were fine. I'm like, you know, like one day, you know, like when you're young, you're like, oh, I have all this time to get my life together. I have all this time to serve God. Like, I'm going to do what I want now because I'm young. Like, you're only young once. I have forever to be old. And I never thought we were going to break up. So I'm like, if we're sleeping together, who cares? Because we're going to get married. So it doesn't matter because that's my husband. Now we're not together. Towards the end of our relationship, he kind of just got really distant. He really didn't want to, it seemed like he didn't want to be around me a lot. He didn't seem happy, and so I knew, like, I told my uncle, I was like, he's gonna break up with me. Like, because I knew it. I felt it. I told my friends, I was like, he's gonna break up with me. But when it happened, it was kind of just like a shock, because, like, he actually did it. And then when he broke up with me to get with someone else. So I was kind of just like, I never did anything, like, really crazy in the relationship. Like, we really never had any major arguments. So, like, why don't you want to be with me? And I never really got an answer for that. And I'm not even looking for an answer now because I'm over it. But in that moment, I was just so heartbroken because I'm like, I poured everything out to this man, you know. And, you know, my spiritual mother, she taught me one time, like, when you sleeping, sex is a spiritual thing. So when you sleep with a man or a woman, what they're carrying and what you're carrying intertwines. So now you're dealing with your problems plus their problems. So I had everything I had going on plus the things that he deposited into me. So my mind was just all over the place. And I went through like a very, very bad depression. We went on vacation. He broke up with me on vacation. So I came back from DR, and I just remember laying in my room for 2 weeks straight, crying, non-stop crying. I didn't eat for 2 weeks, nothing. I just laid in my bed and cried. I didn't talk to anyone but my best friend, who stuck out with me through the whole thing. She never hung up the phone once. So for 2 weeks straight, we were on the phone. Not one single hang up. She went to church and would just mute the phone, and I would be in the corner. I think she was kind of scared to leave me alone because, like I just said, my depression was really bad. And, like, I remember June 30th was kind of, like, the day I was just like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Like, I wanted to, like, literally die. Because I'm like, death has to feel better than what I'm feeling now. Like, I never experienced such a painful heartbreak in my life. So, I had all the lights off in my bedroom. And I played, like, some screamo, like, emo music. And I was just dancing around my room. Like, completely lost it. Dancing around my room. And then I remember I took, like, 4 bottles of, like, codeine. I live by, like, a pharmacy. Like, kind of like a drugstore type thing. So I went to the pharmacy and I got, like, 4 bottles of codeine. And I drank them all right then. Like, my best friend, I was on the phone with her, and she's like, please stop, please stop. And I'm like, no. I just drank them all straight. And I went outside, I laid in my front yard, and I just laid there. And I thought I was going to die on the front yard. Because I'm like, my eyes are rolling in the back of my head. Like, I was dizzy. I was like, I'm going to throw up. So I'm back inside. And I was like, alright, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm not going to wake up. Went to sleep. Woke up. Woke up a little delirious, but I got up. And I remember calling my dad. He was home. He was in the next room. But I just remember calling him and asking him what he was doing. And he was like, nothing. And I just broke down on the phone and started hysterically crying. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And I couldn't talk. I'm like screaming, crying hysterically. And he like hangs up the phone. Next thing I know, my grandma, my 2 aunts are at my house. Now, my family is a praying family. They got in my room, formed a circle, started praying. Mind you, I don't want to hear no prayer. I don't even want to be alive, so I don't want to hear what God has to say. Because at that point, I'm like, if God loves me so much, if God is real, why would he let me get my heart broken? To that extent. Why would he let the one person that I thought loved me no matter what leave me for no reason? So they like finished praying. We went out they made me go out with them for ice cream. So I'm like, whatever. And they were like, oh, you're coming to church with us tomorrow. At this point, haven't been to church in like a month. I was like, no, I'm not. And they were like, yes, you are. Okay. So I told my best friend was like, you're gonna go. You know you're gonna go. Like, you know your family's not gonna let you like not go. So I'm like, okay. So I got ready. My family comes to my house, knocking on my door like, let's go. The next day, because it's Sunday. So I went to church. And I sat there with an attitude. Because I'm like, why am I here? Like, I don't know what I believe at this point. And I'm just like, but I know this isn't it. Because if God is so awesome, like I said, like, why would he let me go through all of that? So I sat in the church with an attitude. And they had like some little like youth service thing. So I had to go to that. So I'm like sitting there. And then the lady who was like preaching, she calls me out. And she just spoke to my exact situation. Like, she spoke to everything I was going through. And then she started saying things like about my future, like the plans that God has for me. And she's like, God really wants you. And like, this is like the second time I'm hearing that in like the couple of months span. She's like, God really wants you. Like, he's waiting for your yes. And he really wants you to get into a deeper realm of prayer in this season. So I'm just like, okay. Like, at that, I was kind of in shock because, like I said, she kind of spoke to my situation, like everything I was going through. And then, like, she talked about, like, my future, like, things career-wise that I had wanted to do. So I went home. I told my family, and they were like, yes, like, you know, like, take this time to really pray. So I was like, okay. And I told my best friend. So her and I both, we just started praying together. We would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get up and pray. Because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give this thing one more try. I'm gonna try this God thing one more time. But after that, if it don't work, I'm done. So we would get up, we would pray and everything. And it wasn't like no instant, oh, I feel so much better now. I still was kind of just like, what now? Like, my heart is still broken. I'm still sad. I'm still depressed. And I still don't want to be alive. But I'm getting up every morning and praying. So, then the next Sunday, the bishop called me out, spoke over me, said some things to me. So I was like, all right, God, you keep telling these people to say things to me, but I don't feel anything. Like, I'm still miserable. Like, my boyfriend's still living his whole, my ex-boyfriend, living his whole best life with another female. And I'm just like, and I'm still lonely. But I still kept praying because I was like, maybe people keep saying stuff to me, so maybe something's going to happen. So I don't know when exactly the change really took root, but I just got really consistent with it. Kept praying with my best friend. We both just kept praying. Until one day it just hurt a little less. And I kept praying some more, and then I started hurting a little less. Prayed some more, then it hurt a little less. Until I got to the point where I'm like, this doesn't hurt me anymore. And then I made the decision before I came to college in August. I was like, I'm really gonna serve God. Like, because maybe I keep going through this cycle of bad relationships and, getting my heart broken and being miserable and depressed because I haven't given him a yes to my life. So, like, I'm gonna just give him a yes. I'm gonna try this thing out fully, seriously, and not just, okay, God, yeah, I give you a yes, but I'm still gonna go out here and party sometime. Like, no, I'm gonna give you a yes. So when I came to school, I found a church. I started being faithful in the church, going to the church every Sunday, reading my word, and just praying every day. And I was like, God, like, here I am. You can use me, not use me, do whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want with me. Because when I'm by myself, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just started seeing, like, my life transform. Like, completely. Like, it wasn't like I had to do things to be happy. Like, I would just wake up happy. And, like, I would wake up and, like, it was just, like, little things. Like, somebody would hold the door for me, and I'm like, oh, wow, like, thank you. Like, that was really nice of you. Like, little things would happen, and I'm like, okay. Like, piece by piece, I was getting my joy back and finding myself. And then I started just doing things. I got a job, and I started just doing things for myself, like buying myself little things, taking myself out here and there. And I started to enjoy my own company. And when I started to enjoy my own company, I'm just like, I only want what God has for me at this point because everything else didn't work out. I tried it my way. It didn't work. But, and I'm only like, I'm not even 100% there yet. But God has been just still being good to me. Like, he could have let me die when I tried to kill myself, and he didn't. So because there's still breath, like, in my lungs, like, he has a purpose for me. I just kept thinking that way and writing things down and posting things on Instagram. And then people kept being encouraged by what I post. And I'm just like, okay, God, like, is this what you called me to do? And God just started to speak to me. And people would always say, oh, God talks to me, God talks to me. And I never really knew, like, how that worked. Because I'm like, how does God talk to you? Like, he's never spoken to me until he did. And it was just a still small voice in the back of my head. And he was just like, this is what you were called to do. So I just kept doing it. And then, like, my Instagram grew. And it's still growing. And, like, I got an apartment that I can move into for next semester for school that I don't have to pay for. I have my school book loans and stuff are being paid. I don't really worry about my bills are paid. Like, I have a job that I enjoy going to. I do very well in school. And it was like things just started really looking up for me. But they didn't start looking up until I decided, God, I'm going to live for you. God, I'm going to give this to you. Like, you can have every part of me. And I get it. Like, being young and saved is not easy because there is temptation everywhere. And, like, for me, like, when I was with my ex, like, we had sex all the time. And I feel like as a young person, like, that's something that's not taboo for us anymore. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what we do. Like, we don't care. Like, we're so bold about it now. And I was so bold about it before. Until, like, I learned, like, I don't want a soul tie. Like, soul tie, yeah, it is not an easy thing to break. It took me months to break that thing off of me. And you're carrying the weight of somebody else. And it's not easy. And I still have struggles. I'm not sleeping around, but it's not easy. It's not easy to be single. It's not easy to walk with God and be on a college campus, because there's things to do all around you. There's people all around you. And there's more people in the world than there are saved on this campus. So it's like, okay. And it's like, you're trying to encourage them, but it's like, you're trying to have more influence over them than they have over you. But sometimes they don't want to hear what you have to say. So a lot of the times they don't want to hear what you have to say. So it's very hard. But I want to encourage you, like, young person, older person, like, really give it to God. Like, and I know that's like, so, like, everybody says, oh, just give it to God and he'll work it out. Like, I'm a witness. Like, I really just decided, God, I'm going to live for you. God, I'm going to serve you. And I watched him in a matter of months turn my whole life around. You're looking at somebody who didn't even want to be alive to now somebody who has a blog encouraging people around the world to live for God and to love a God who loves them endlessly, and making my YouTube now. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's life after your storm. Like, you don't have to stay broken. You don't have to stay bitter. Like, you can grow. You can grow what you go through. And, like, it doesn't have to end now. You don't have to stay depressed. Like, you don't, those things are options. Like the Bible says, joy is mandatory. Weeping may endure for night, but joy comes in the morning. They put the stipulation on weeping. Weeping may endure, but joy comes. It doesn't say joy may. It says that joy comes. So joy is mandatory. So your happiness is mandatory. Your peace of mind is mandatory. Your sanity is mandatory. So, and even like these people that you have in your life that cost you your sanity, that cost you your peace of mind, that cost you your convictions, let them go. Because it's not worth it. I'm telling you, it is not worth it. The life of fulfillment and joy and peace that I have now does not compare to anything I've ever experienced. Even though I was so in love with my ex and so in love with hanging out with all of my other friends and going to parties and doing things that we did, the life I have now, I don't have to worry about a thing. I don't have to stress about a thing. Like, I have peace in my heart, peace in my mind. Like, I know I have goals that I'm currently accomplishing. God has been opening up doors for me. And I don't have to compromise myself. I don't have to compromise my faith and compromise the things I believe in to get these things. And when you live for God, like, he rewards you. Like, and I just really love Jesus, and I just want to share that love that I have for him with everyone that I encounter, with everyone I come in contact with. I just want them to experience the overwhelming, like, reckless love of Jesus Christ, because it's like the most beautiful thing. And like I said, I started as somebody who grew up in church but didn't really care about it. Like, had the facade of, yeah, I go to church, yeah, I love them, did the little praise break thing all the time, was on the dance team, but I really wasn't living any of the things I was talking, like, that wasn't me. I was still going home, doing what I wanted to do, going home, sleeping with my boyfriend, but then going to church. But when you get sick and tired of living your life sick and tired, and you give it to God, he takes that sick and tired and turns it into joy, turns it into peace, turns it into a life of fulfillment. And it's just a beautiful experience. Like, I'm literally living the most beautiful, I'm living my best life. And I thought I was before, but now I am. So that's kind of how the blog started. And as far as me calling myself your modern day Ruth, Ruth means compassionate friend. And that's really what I want to be to everyone. I want to be the person that never leaves. Like, when you look at the story of Ruth in the Bible, she stayed with Naomi through it all. Like, she went to a place that was uncomfortable for her, a place that was unknown for her, served a God that she didn't believe in originally. And God gave her beauty for ashes because her husband had died, and then she found Boaz. So I want to be that for other people. I want to be the person that doesn't leave when you expect them to. I want to be the person that stays. I want to be the person that loves you when you feel unlovable. I want to be the person that lets you know that you can keep on keeping on. Like, that's what I want to be to everybody that I encounter. And modern day kind of just came about because I was just like, I want to be the modern version of it. Because, like, when we think of, like, the old-time church and, like, how they do things, like, people, like, millennials, we don't really agree with a lot of things going on in the church. So it's like, I want to be the modern day version. I'm not going to throw the Bible down your throat, which I do. I believe every word of the Bible, and I do use scripture to back up everything that I do. But I'm not the type of person that's going to throw Bible down your throat, throw scripture down your throat, and chastise you instead of build you up. Like, correct me in love, not bitterness. So that's kind of where the modern day came from. And yeah, I just really hope that to be an encouragement to someone, anyone, even if it just reaches one person and encourages them, that's fine with me. As I never looked at this as to be something to make it as some big global name, because wherever God leads me is where He leads me, and whatever He tells me to do is what I'm going to do. I'm literally just living my life to please Him at this point, and continuing on. My life belongs to Him, so whatever He wants to do with it, honestly, I'm okay with. I'm not more than okay, like, I'm happy with, because it's a blessing to serve God. It's a blessing to live for Him. And as I said, like, it has its rewards. So again, I just want to encourage you guys, if you need anything, I'm going to link my Instagram below. Most of you may have it, but I'm going to link it below. And like, comment, subscribe, message me. Like, I'm pretty good with answering my messages for the most part. And yeah, anything you guys want me to post about, anything, topics you want me to talk about, anything you really want me to dive deeper into. I kind of just wanted to make an intro video, tell you about myself and what it is that I'm doing. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you tune in again. I'm going to try to do this weekly. My school schedule right now is a little crazy with work and everything, and then my responsibilities in the ministry. So, but I am going to try to do this weekly and get this thing going. This has been very delayed. I've been talking about this for months now. So, but I'm doing it now, and I'm so excited, and I'm excited to hear your feedback and the things that you guys have to say to me. And like I said, any questions, comments, anything, comment below. You can DM me on Instagram. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day, and I love you all.